Hello, and welcome to Manga Experts. Today we are counting our top 10 picks for post-apocalyptic mangas that you won't regret reading. We'd appreciate it if you liked our video. It motivates us to bring you new and better suggestions soon, and watching the whole video will be highly appreciated. We also have a Discord server where we can hang out with each other. The link will be in the description below. So without any further ado, let's get started. I kill zombies in Wasteland. The event, Eternal Night of Poison Rain, that ended human civilization in a single day. Those humans who escaped from it built a new city in the wilderness. The old city was covered in the sea of miasma, and it birthed new monsters, the Scourge, commonly known as zombies. In order to fight against them, humanity evolved and awakened superpowers. Wu Chan sets out on a dangerous journey into the hazardous old city to get rid of the dangers caused by the superpower's side effects. But first, he needs to open a waste incineration center. It's quite nice, it's a rare manhua that actually has decent dialogue and plot trigger that not just popped up out of nowhere. Art is also nice. Surviving romance. When Charon Yoon becomes the protagonist of the romance novel she is reading, she expects a fairy tale ending with the novel's love interest, Jiha. But when a bizarre twist makes her realize the story is not playing out as it does in the book, she'll need the help of an unlikely character from her class to defy the new storyline and find her happy ending, if only she can figure out who this unknown extra is first. This manhwa is really gorgeous. It is a good mix between Re:Zero and a post-apocalyptic zombie manhwa. Art is very pleasing to the eyes, and story is also top-notch. It is also one of my favorite apocalyptic manhwas. All of Us Are Dead. Life at Hyacinth High School is nothing special. Until the students realize they're in ground zero of a deadly virus that turns its victims into flesh-eating monsters. As the virus tears through their schoolmates in a matter of hours, they realize they have nowhere to run. Trapped in their high school with zombified versions of their friends and teachers, they must find a way to fight and escape with their lives. The art of this webtoon is simple, but the story makes up for it. A Netflix adaptation is also coming next year. Noru. Earth has become a dried-up wasteland, and thanks to dwindling supplies and no more potable water, mankind will soon become extinct. This manhwa follows the tale of Noru, a boy who shares resources with the people still left on Earth. But Noru is not a savior. His goal is to record the fall of civilization on Earth, to leave a record for the future generation. This is a super awesome and small but meaningful story full of heart-touching moments. And this manhwa is not meant for people with faint hearts. Last Order, Hitori Baki no Hyakunin Sensu. A post-apocalyptic world. Following her last order, the mechanical soldier Ria has been fighting an endless war for over 100 years. With the people she was meant to protect gone, and her comrades in arms lost. Main character is a robot and the world is overrun by different creatures, and humans are almost extinct. Main character is protecting her city from these monsters for hundreds of years because her master last order was to protect that city from anyone. This is actually a top-tier and very unique post-apocalyptic manga. The Dog Man. The world is dominated by bugs. This is not your typical invasion story. Gigantic oxygen-doped bees are attempting to dominate the human race by reversing the food chain. Lee is a middleman at a large company who has only one thing on his mind: save his family from the bug apocalypse. It's a prequel to the famous webtoon series The Hive, and it explains how those giant bees appeared in the whole world. And it follows the story of Dog Man, a soldier working as a mercenary group leader. If you have not read The Hive, then you are gonna have a hard time getting used to its story, and I only recommend reading it after you have read The Hive. Geppetto. After a decimating war against the androids they had built, humanity, though victorious, was forced to start living in shelters. There, they remained isolated from the wastelands of the rest of the world, created by the damage the confrontation brought to the world. Dr. Geppetto, one of the brightest android creators of his time, died and left behind an inheritance of untold proportions. The only clue as to how to get it is being a blue-haired gynoid. The old man had built and preserved for as long as possible even after his death. The gynoid was reactivated, and she's attempting to escape the grasp of the new government. And the hunt for the inheritance begins. Manga. Main character is a superhuman and is working for government in exchange for antidote which can make him normal. He is tasked with different outrageous missions such as kidnapping virgins for the government, etc. Now he is promised by the government that they will give him an antidote if he can do one last mission for them, and that is to kidnap a girl who can use fire in this post-apocalyptic world where fire has ceased to exist. This is a super awesome manhwa. Art is also good, and the story is also short but well made. Give it a try, you will not regret it. And it is very underrated. One day, suddenly, Seoul is. A terrible variation virus suddenly hit Seoul one day. Yeon Woo, who has been on a school trip to Seoul, is so amazed about the idea that he can get acquainted with his crush on this trip. But suddenly shit hits the fan, and unidentified cells appeared in front of the Yeon Woo class while sightseeing in Seoul. The math trip of classmates turns into hell because of the cells that turn the infected into a ferocious figure when they come into contact. Can Yeon-so escape Seoul safely? This is actually pretty good manhwa. MC is a bit simp at first, but he is not dumb. This is a must-read post-apocalyptic manhwa. Tacit. In the near future, the world is a desolate place occupied by the undead. Strange crystals emit a deadly zombie virus. As the last remnants of humanity struggle to avoid infection and survive. Despite all this, life is relatively peaceful for young Ruby, who lives in the Amina safe zone with her father and a small band of other survivors. All of this changes when Ruby encounters Arvin, a white-haired young man with pale skin and no heartbeat. This meeting sets off a series of events that force Ruby and her father to embark on a journey to discover the truth. The art and story of this manhwa is very unique. I highly recommend you guys to check it out. Do you agree with our picks? Check out our other videos for more suggestions. And don't forget to give us a like before going. Until then, take care and we will see you in our next videos.